We're here today with Miss Brooks. How are you doing, Miss Brooks?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Caleb.
Thanks for taking the time to be with us today. So, a few questions for you. First, I've been hearing the song going around that you've been singing very well, by the way.
Thank you.
And I was just wondering, what was the purpose behind the song? What's the purpose of it?
Well, as the title kind of illustrates, the song's purpose is to speak to my daughter about my wish for her to never grow up. Yeah, so that's...
Do you have a daughter now?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a daughter now.
And how old is she?
She's about 6. She'll be turning 7 soon.
Okay.
Going on 21.
Okay. And so, did she kind of play into your motivation for writing it, or how did that come about?
Yes. I remember being a little girl, and I remember my mom telling me no to all these things that seemed so fun. It was always better, on the other side, in the backyard, where, it's always greener on the other side. And she never really took the time to explain, and I mean, you can't really explain very much to an 8-year-old about the things that are going on in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of wish that maybe I could have looked back and she would have, presented a case for her or a reasoning. So I'm hoping that when my daughter sees this, she'll know that, yeah, she didn't like me at the time, but she understands.
But you had her best interest at heart.
That I did have her best interest, and it's not just me saying that, 20 years later as an excuse for anything.
So that was clearly one of the themes, I guess, of the song. One of the underlying ideas. But I mean, what are some of the other ones? Can we talk about?
Well, there are a couple kind of themes and ideas. One prominent one is, a mother doesn't want her child to grow up, and a child seems to always yearn for something that has nothing to do with her family. It's just that desire to, flee the nest or leave the nest, if you will. So that's that. And so I talked about recognize that that's a common element in childhood, and how as a parent that's hard, because while the child's growing up, the older they get, the more they want to leave, and as they grow up, the more you want to keep them safe because you understand what it's like out in the real world. There's that, and then there's just the component of innocence. A child has an innocence. She doesn't understand what I mean when I say you can't stay out past 8:15 or be outside past 8:15 because there are dangerous people. But to her, that's exciting and things like that. But once she understands why I'm so strict and protective, the world becomes a dark, scary place instead of this, vast opportunity in dreamland, that she could pursue anything and everything. And so that's hard. There's a fine balance. And there's also some reflective portions of it where I realize, I wish, it's kind of sad. You get older and then you wish you could be young again and appreciate it. But I guess that's just the irony of life.
Sure, absolutely. C'est la vie. And so I saw one of the lines, or I heard one of the lines in the song was something like bad men who were once boys, or what is that about? What's that line about?
Okay, yeah, I do. I say a line, there are men who will want to hurt you who were once boys in a yard. I mean, I guess my point is to say that all the bad people in the world were once kids, and that something had to have happened, whatever it was that took, innocent little kids and made them into bad. And so I guess when there was one time where she wanted to go and play with the charity boys, is what I call them, which isn't fair, and I could have used better words and things like that, but it's just those people have a propensity for being or have a higher elevated crime correlation. And I just wanted to let her know that the boys that she wanted to go play with, some of them could grow up to be bad. And then not that any...
Well, that sounds kind of like a stereotype. You support stereotypes?
There's a fine line, but there is a crucial difference. I feel like if it's a protective stance, there are bad people in the world, and they do come from places. And associating my daughter in a place where rules aren't enforced, and there's, for her, it'd be learning different kinds of language, though language standards aren't the same, their moral ethics they don't line up, and so there are differences there. So as a protective measure, I'm gonna try to...
Sure, and that reasoning kind of balances out the dangerous stereotypes.
Yes, but there is a danger with stereotyping, and I understand, and it's hard. I mean, where do you draw the line if we're gonna be just blunt and honest? Anyway, Yeah.
You want to protect her, playing the odds. I understand. So, I mean, do you really not want your daughter to grow up, or is that just kind of a, what do you think?
Oh, I want her to grow up. I mean, I guess that's the natural course. I just wish it wasn't with the realization that the world isn't
A perfect little place.
A perfect place, yeah, and that your dreams are a lot harder to achieve than you'd like to think, and that it's a lot harder to have that inspiration and excitement for the future,
the innocence that you
and
talked about.
And this innocence, and then just this hope. There's childhood hope that's just unreal and
It's contagious, even, isn't it?
It is, but we can't sense it. We can't, once you've again become wise to the way the world works, you can't ever have that sense of possibility really ever again.
Or that optimistic view of kind of how things work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Brooks, for your time
no problem.
today.
This has been wonderful. Thank you very much, Caleb.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye. Sorry, this is just this awkward time where you have to figure out how to work. This is my husband, Caleb. He's awesome. Anyway.
I'm your interviewer.
Yeah. Oh, my interviewer. Okay, bye.